Welcome back to another episode of American Heroes Outdoors. This week, host Scott St. Sauveur heads down to the Florida Everglades with Ray VanHorn for some amazing fishing in an environment we're really not used to fishing in. All reports from the fishing down there says it's going to be a great time. We're really looking forward to it. A ton of great stories and some very unique fishing tactics. We also highlight our next Shields hometown hero, John Delzell from Fargo, North Dakota. Stay tuned, it's going to be a great episode.
American Heroes Outdoors shares the stories of our nation's true heroes, a documentation of journey, commitment, struggle, and healing. A glimpse into the sacrifice and bravery of our servicemen and women. This is American Heroes Outdoors.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to Everglades City, Florida and another episode of American Heroes Outdoors. I'm Scott St. Sauveur and I can't wait to do this episode. We're going to be fishing down here off Chokoloskee Island in southern Florida. It's super cold this morning, coldest weather they've had in about 3 years down here, but we're looking forward to a great show. You're going to meet a great veteran and we're going to be fishing with a legend down here in the Everglades, Captain Ray VanHorn. So stay tuned.
I joined the military in December of '87, went to basic training. We had the old South Dakota platoon, if you remember those, and went down there and basically cleaned house. So I went to the reserve officer training course in college, basically did a sniff test of do I want to go active duty or do I want to stay with the Guard? And I decided to stay with the Guard.
I've known Jerry Thompson since we were young in the National Guard together. Back into the early 80s. We served together in a traditional National Guard when I first got in. He was a cadet and I was a second lieutenant, brand new second lieutenant. We were in Korea in 1989 for Team Spirit. And boy, have we had some stories over the years.
Went to battalion staff, jumped up to brigade staff. There was a battle captain up there, went to Germany, Korea, all those kind of places. Then was the operations officer for 2nd Battalion 147 Field Artillery, was promoted up XO, and then in, I think it was October, November of '03, we got word that we were going to deploy. And then we got to Iraq, I want to say the end of January. So we had our equipment in from snowbanks to sand in just over 6 weeks. And then we did convoy escorts duties. We captured enemy ammunition. We provided security for the civilians that were blowing up that ammo. But we got back, we flew in back into Watertown, I think it was March of 2005, and that part of our journey was done. I became the battalion commander at that time. That's the best job there is, I think, in the military, is an FA battalion commander. And my goal was battalion commander and done. My ultimate goal was to take and give the flag away, and I was going to throw my hat into the formation and walk off a civilian, a retired guy. And I got talked out of it, ended up going up to a brigade, which way above reality for me, after a while, because I just like being with troops, and that's what I like to do. And I get up there, the brigade commander is actually the old battalion commander that I went to Iraq with, and this is where, at that point, it was becoming apparent for other people to see that I had the shake. When we were coming back, I could tell that I had something, that anxiety more than anything, it felt like at that time. The shake didn't really start till about 2007. I think I went in and talked to a doctor and I said, hey, I just can't keep my hands. I did a Veterans Day speech. I had to pin the microphone against my chest to get through it. I knew something was going on there. And again, I just thought maybe anxiety. I went to the local doctor in Webster, and she said essential tremors or Parkinson's, one of the two. From 2008, where I really started noticing the problem, from there till now, I've been trying to figure out what it is this whole time, and they don't know if it's Parkinson's. They call it Parkinson-like. Personally, when I left for Iraq, there was nothing wrong. When I got back, there was something there. At first, I went through our veteran service officer, and we put in for a whole bunch of things that were wrong with the body after coming back. There's two different divisions of the VA, the Veterans Association, that I didn't understand that. I thought one was the other and the other was one, and they communicated. And I found out that was further from the truth than I understood. We got denied for Parkinson's. I reapplied for Parkinson's, and we did a bunch of buddy letters, and we pushed it forward again. It was denied again for Parkinson's, and I guess I was baffled. I have to prove that I'm sick. Why don't they have to prove that I'm not sick? That's the frustrating part, is it's on us to figure it out.
American Heroes Outdoors is brought to you by Skeeter Boats and Yamaha Outboards, Shields, Disabled American Veterans, Woodland Resort, Smoky Hills Outdoor Store and Ice Castle Fish Houses, Minn Kota and Hummingbird, Innovative Sign and Graphics, and S&S Promotional Group.
I got a message from Stu Whitney. He told me who he was.
I knew kind of what he'd done and what we were doing. We were certainly around the burn pits. We were certainly around that whole discussion of what the burn pits do to people and how it affects their lives in negative ways.
With Stu, he came up and he did the interview, and he wrote up what I thought was a pretty nice article. I was afraid of what it was going to be coming out. I didn't want people thinking that I'm just crying wolf when there's other people that are worse off than I am. But that article was written. It went nationwide. I got people from Virginia calling me that they had seen it. And I still have people that message me and say, hey, are you the one that was, in the Parkinson's? I have the same deal. I had different people calling saying they have the exact same issue and what are you doing to fix it?
And about 2.5 years ago, Jerry wrote a letter talking and begging the federal government to look at Parkinson's disease as a debilitating injury from the burn pits and from the toxicity and toxic relationships that we ran into in Iraq. And to this case, it still hasn't happened. Unfortunately, the PACT Act, which was just passed recently by the federal government for VA care, doesn't cover Parkinson's as a function of the burn pit toxicity and toxic levels of exposure. We should never have another Agent Orange issue in our country. Agent Orange took years and years and years and years, and those veterans suffered from Vietnam, and their families suffered because nothing was done until too late. And if we're not careful, the Parkinson's disease's types of neurological issues may be the next thing. And it's not fair. It's not fair to his service. It's not fair to his family. I feel pretty strongly, obviously, about this issue.
I want to do things while I can yet. I don't know what's in store for me, what life's going to bring. So I want to do things now as best I can.
We're going to go fishing with the legend of Everglades backcountry saltwater fishing. I am excited beyond words to do this adventure with Jerry, to share it with all of you. For those of you that don't know Captain Ray VanHorn, to introduce you to one of the most eccentric, excited 73-year-olds you'll ever meet in your life. The man lives, breathes, eats, sleeps fishing.
But I actually got expelled from high school my senior year for going fishing. It was April. I'm sitting there looking out. I'm gone. And they're biting today. And I left a little early from school The vice principal claims that I tried to run him over. Coach Parker, I love you. And he expelled me for 10 days. Now, if you missed 10 days of school, you had to redo. And I only had about a month left. I had to go to summer school to graduate over fishing. That's how much it drives me. I don't punch a clock. I don't meet you at 7 or bring you back at 3. You know, there's something in the guide community around here that says we're going to leave at 7 and be back at 3. I'd prefer to leave about 6, come back when it's almost dark. I don't necessarily do this for the money. I mean, this is a nice way to live, but this is about me too. My time on this planet is limited. It's limited for everyone, and I'm not getting this day back. Every man in my family, except for me, has been in the U.S. Army, all the way back dating to the Civil War. And I think that the true heroes of this country are the military veterans. So whatever I can do, whatever little I can contribute, I'd do it 1,000 times over. And I actually have a lot of clients that are active military, retired military. They kind of dig how I like to approach the angling. You got to want to go there to get there. The fishing's pretty, getting there is not real pretty. And that's by design. The harder it is to get to, the better. And I've only been around Jerry a little bit, but I think I've got a pretty good idea what he's made out of. First of all, it's different than anything he's probably ever done before. We're fishing for species I don't think he's ever caught before, and I think he's going to enjoy this.
I'm not a guy that's got to kill a lot of fish, but it's the experience. What he described yesterday, we may have to just idle through places. That's exciting to me. You know, that he would take some of his time to come out and help somebody like me, incredible. You wish he could bring 100,000 people through, you know, everybody that's experiencing this, but hopefully people can see the excitement that I had of doing this, and they can bring that excitement to themselves, or somebody out there says, hey, maybe I can help a vet. I can take a vet fishing. It doesn't have to be on these shows. You know, grab a vet, take them out and give them an experience of a lifetime.
We're off the grid in a way, but most people don't know about Chokoloskee. But it's the kind of place that's like, you know, we kind of like this right here. Golly, I didn't know it even was down here, but we had a good time. You know, the national park, of course, we got a great bird watching outfit. It's just a good place to get away.
And of course, I'm enamored with the Everglades. Thank God for Teddy Roosevelt, because back in 1937, they made this a national park. And it's pretty much the same as it was since time began, with a few exceptions. It's pristine, it's wild. We've seen Florida panthers, bobcats, bears, pythons, rattlesnakes, water moccasins, scorpions, and there'll be unbelievable nesting birds in the Everglades. I don't know how many species we have down here, but it's got to be in the hundreds, if not more. So you're going to see a lot of birds. You're going to see a lot of alligators, maybe a few crocs, and they'll be up there laying, getting a lot of sun, especially after the sun gets out. I don't care if you're going to go hunting, fishing, if you're going to go hiking, biking, get outside, get in the weather, enjoy your life, because we don't get this day back. There's days that people say, well, what do you do on your day off? I'd go fishing. A lot of days I'll go and I'll never pick up a fishing rod. I'll just sit there.
You know, everybody uses that cliche, you put your name on a check, that most people wouldn't, and said that I'll be there for everybody else. Well, it's time for everybody else to be there for you. You know, so get up, make some noise, let them know that, hey, I either need help or I need to understand what is there for me. I've always had people say, well, I didn't work on the front lines, I didn't do this. But you were there, you're breathing the same air, drinking the same water, getting the same shots. If you feel like you have these issues and things like that, call and get help. If you have to call me, call American Heroes Outdoors. We will help get you started in the right direction. I'm going to tell you, it was easy to give up sometimes, but don't give up because you deserve it.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. And now it's time for our next Shields hometown hero, John Dalzell.
Hey guys, Karin from Fargo Shields. We are right outside Ginnis Cafe where we are going to surprise John Dalzell with our next Hometown Hero Award.
Welcome to Shields Hometown Heroes.
Shields Hometown Heroes is a way for us to say thanks to those that serve our country and our community.
And are still giving back to others today.
We honor your service by sharing your stories.
From all of us at Shields, thank you for your service.
Hi, John. Hi. On behalf of all of us at Shields, we are beyond thrilled to recognize you as this next hometown hero. Congratulations. So we have some fun things for you. You didn't just come over for lunch, right?
No.
Yeah. So we've got the plaque, obviously. Congratulations on that. We also, on behalf of Shields, have given a $1,000 donation to Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation on your behalf in honor of your recognition. And we also have a very special Christmas gift card for you to spend on anything that you would like as a Merry Christmas gift from us here at Shields.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. Congratulations.
My dad was a Marine, was in the Korean War, and just basically he taught us, as well as my mom, about giving back. Be a force of good or whatever you want to say, and determined to enlist in the Marine Corps. So I did, and went to boot camp 3 weeks after I graduated from high school. I deployed several times, both training exercises in Germany, Denmark, in Norway. I was in Beirut. As history will tell you, in October 23rd, 1983, we got blown up by Hezbollah, lost 241 of my fellow brothers. I was about 100 yards away, had been into the building just prior to the explosion, dealt with that aftermath. It was obviously the worst day of my life. So yeah, I did that till I got out of the Marine Corps in 1985. Got hired almost immediately with the South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation. In 1994, the FBI started a hiring push. Did my first 2.5, 3 years in Chicago working non-traditional organized crime before I got transferred here to Fargo. I was assigned to domestic terrorism until September 11th, 2001, which changed everybody, especially with the FBI. I did multiple deployments to Iraq, multiple deployments to Afghanistan, retired from the Bureau in 2016. 4 years in the military, 30 years in law enforcement. So about 23 and a half with the FBI and 6.5 with South Dakota DCI.
John is, I would say, the very symbol of a military personality. You know, kind of one of those personalities where he can be intense, but yet behind all that intenseness, he's, you know, just wants to help, and he's super caring.
February, shortly after I retired, I was trying to figure out how I can make a difference, to continue to give back, you know, because that's what we did in the FBI. You know, you continue to try and make a difference. They told me about Brady and what they were doing, how they were trying to make a difference with PTSD and veteran suicide. I asked if I could help. I came up with the idea for Brady's Border to Border Ruck March. In the course of 6 years, we had rucked over 1,500 miles and raised over $200,000.
The things that we have done together with the rucks and workouts and the friendship, that no matter what we're going through in life, there's always somebody there. There's somebody that will that'll always be there for you, that will always push you just a little bit harder when you need that extra push, and to make sure that you keep doing and you keep being that person that you're meant to be.
The anxiety, the panic, the feeling of helplessness is not unique. We all have the feelings. It's just how we deal with it and trying to do positive, just a little bit. You can't immediately find one step is going to cure us. It's a work in progress. It never goes away. The dreams never go away. The smell, the triggers, the song, but it's just that we have to continue to support our veterans, that if somebody's off, you got to continue to check on them and do what you can.
His love for not only the country, for veterans, but for the people around him. He's definitely deserving of this award.
We are blessed to have John, and I'm blessed to call John a friend too, but the foundation is blessed. And like I said, I think it was Brady that put us in connection with him to help further the mission.
Wow, what an awesome episode. Got to get down to Florida. It was awesome to have our host, Scott St. Sauver, down there with this one. He's near and dear to the Florida area. This is fishing like you've never seen it before. It was great to capture the stories, truly some crazy, amazing stories of service and sacrifice, and to be down there witnessing some of the most amazing environment and fishing. A guy like Captain Ray VanHorn, he truly is a master of craftsmanship. He's a great fisherman, a great person, and he's just one of those kind of people that if you're around him, you just want to be around him more and just continue to learn from his experiences and the things that he does. Another great episode, and stay tuned next week.